What's up, guys and gals? My name is Splattercat, and we're here once again at the Nerd Castle playing the second episode of our Legend of Eisenwald LP. Where we had left off, we were looking for a missing barony. In fact, we had lost track of one of our neighbors. He had went off doing something, I don't know. Someone had come and visited him at the castle, and he had just lost his mind. He had run off and been like, legends don't burn down villages, and just had to just totally Wreckface. That's all he could think about, and he ran off into the distance half nude. And so now we've got to track him down. They said to search for him at the Honey Barrel, if I remember correctly. So let's take a look and see what the quest says. And it says to find out what happened to the Baron or conquer all 4 of the castles on the map. That's going to be the overall quest for the game. Now, the messenger for the priest-elect, it says that they're staying at the inn. So that's who we want to see if we can find, because he actually knows what may have happened to the Baron. So let's swing down in there and see if we can find him. At the Honey Barrel. That sounds like it might be a brothel or an inn. That's kind of a duplicitous name. Let's see here. Let's talk to the innkeeper and we can ask, or it says that he's asking if we're looking for someone. Yes, I've seen a dandy here, cleared out one of the locals. He had plenty of servants too. Seems like he's been here several times and he might show up again. I'll let you know once I spot him. Would you toss me a coin if that's how it is? 10 goldens would be enough. Extortionist. It's that beard that makes him so brazen. Here you go, beardy man. Here are your goldens. Pester us no more. Thank you, your grace. Come again at any time, and I will tell you everything I find out. Plus, it's always better to have people on the payroll. It's never good to not have people on the payroll. If you don't pay people, they don't feel any type of loyalty. Let's see here. There's treasures in the basement. Let's go ahead and talk to him as well. It looks like that's actually a quest. Everybody knew he was a heretic, and his men were heretics, which made them cursed ones restless. Called themselves the Ovites, or persecuted ones. They did, like Christians, have been persecuted since, like other Christians, they have been persecuted since the beginning of time, and those who are not persecuted ain't Christians. This is really, I'm sorry, I'm kind of struggling with this because it's very poorly translated. Hopefully that gets cleaned up in the future, but that's difficult to make out, even for me on the fly. Then came the Rothwald Knights and the Inquisitor from Bergut, the papal blessing upon them. They pursued the persecuted ones so fast that you could see their clean heels. And that's how it was. Those heretics hated our priests really badly. I mean, who likes them anyways? But the heretics lost all their treasure. They burnt everything to the ground, churches, monasteries, and even the homes of those who are known to support the church. It's been 9 years since they rebuilt Thomas the Apostle, but they've only just begun to restore Severinus of Noricum. The priests are no fools. When they smelled their asses being roasted, they put their most expensive stuff into chests, and those chests into castles. The strong castles of powerful lords. The pious rich men were no worse. The trouble was, the priest was no longer alive, done in by heretics or turned heretic from fear and done in by Catholics, but the chests were right where they had left them. Some knights forgot to return the property to the priests. Knights can be forgetful folk, and it's no wonder a bludgeon to the helm can make you forget much more than that. So those things that are left across the castles and forts, you know. So basically what he had said there, from what I can tell, he's saying that there was sort of a holy war within this region, and the heretics won, and so the Ovites, or the heretics, the people that were standing against the Catholic Church, won. So the Catholic priests ran off into the distance, hiding all of their golden treasures in the existing castles, and unfortunately, those treasures were never returned once the monasteries and Catholic edifices were rebuilt. That's basically hinting that there may be treasure at some of the castles we capture, but beyond that, I don't really know what to say. The game is a little vague, like old RPGs, where they don't really give you all the information you'd like to have, and you just kind of have to sort it out. That combined with the translation can make the whole thing a little bit precarious. Let's see here. The Landgrave's Messenger. Have you seen him? Seen whom? Well, the important one. This dressed-up character that's arrived from the Rothwald. Why, of course. You couldn't overlook him even if you wanted to. He kept shouting at the servants about dirty tables and questioned us like we were supposed to give him some kind of report. You could say that again. Said he'd been sent by the Prince-Elector Landgrave of West Rothwald. He demanded the best rooms for himself and his retinue, and when I told him they'd all been taken, he offered to pay me extra for making the guests leave. Goes without saying that I wouldn't do that, so he stomped his boot, slammed the door, and that was the last we saw of him. Must have gone to another inn to ask for the same kind of thing. Well, that's probably one of the guys we're looking for to figure out where the Baron's at. There's a bunch of other quests here, but I think I'm going to leave them to the side of the road for now. Well, we'll talk to the guard deserter. He's asking us if we're looking for the Prince-Elector. Let us assume that I am. Is there anything you can tell me? Keep quiet. I ain't supposed to tell anybody, but I'll tell you. Just make sure you keep it quiet. I don't want anyone to overhear. Never mind that I've had a little to drink, but how can a man keep from drinking when there's this sort of thing going around? In a nutshell, the Baron, well, I don't think he ever left the castle. What nonsense are you talking about? It's true, I was on the wall, and I could see from where I was standing that the man who was leaving the castle wasn't the Baron von Doppelzung. It was someone who looked a lot like him, but rest assured it wasn't him. Well, no one but me noticed this, and I naturally sort of started to feel ill at ease after that, so I deserted from my post. And, well, there you go. I suppose the little fellow had had a bit too much to drink that time as well, so he thought he'd seen something. I wonder how he managed not to fall from the wall altogether. He must have been removed from the guard for drinking. Well, that was more of a rumor, but that's kind of what you hear around the tavern. You don't really hear a whole lot of great information, so now we have the chance to walk around a little bit and figure out what's going on. The tavern keeper said to come back and check in periodically. Maybe we'll find ourselves some combat, just sort of explore the world. I don't know. Or maybe we could let's look at the rest of the rumors and maybe score ourselves a couple quests. Now they already talked about all of these. Heinz the Ottoman. We didn't have that one before, and I don't think we had local knights before either. The local lords just can't sit still. It's been a week since Linhart von Zongel and Bernhard von Barenhaus got into a fight, and there's no one to pull them apart. The Baron, they say, seems to have vanished into thin air, and I'm getting worried. They're driving all the countrymen beyond the walls to throw spears, and then who will do all the work? Heinz is the ketchup keeper that we talked to in there. Knight of the Ketchup. Do you know about Heinz? What, Heinz, the one-armed one? No, the one-armed one is the robber knight in the tower, and he's not one-armed either. Devil knows that how they gave him that name. Heinz is the commander of the Saint-Zong Guard. He's practically the second highest man after the Baron. They call him the Ottoman because he fought in a war in Turkey. His skin grew dark in the sun down there, and he learned to speak like the Mussulmans, so he became like a Turk himself. So what did he tell you? A lot about Turkey? Well, he told me a few things, but, I think he knows 10 times more than he says. And it's not just about Turkey. Judge for yourself. He's an ordinary man, but the Baron leaves him in place of himself wherever there is a possibility. Disobeying him would be worse than disobeying Matthias himself. In short, the devil knows what he may have learned from them there in Turkey, but he's not one to trifle with. Interesting. So Lord Ketchup over here appears to be well battle-hardened. Let's take a look around. There's a cemetery over here. Let's investigate the cemetery and see what comes up. I can't guarantee that there's going to be any event here, but there might be something interesting to investigate. Might take a look at the mill, too. I've never actually stopped at most of these locations. It doesn't look like we're actually going to be able to visit the West Cemetery yet, so maybe it's just a placeholder for later on in the beta. Let's go to the mill. Nothing here as well. Alright, well, I like my formation right now. I was kind of looking at it. I like the formation we have at the moment, so I'm not going to shift anything around. Let's have a look-see at our quest log and see if there's anything we feel like partaking in. There's nothing that we can track over on the right. Well, maybe we should just kind of walk around for a day or two, see what else comes up. Let's have a look at our map and see if there's any other castles that we can visit. And it appears as though if I click up here, there we are, and then I add the labels. Let's see what kind of places there are to visit. This is the entire map as it exists right now, so this pretty much encompasses all the things you can do. They're not all filled in. Some of them are blank and they're just sort of there. It's just an empty model that's hanging out, but you never know. Let's consider maybe going to Rawfield or Zongel and having a look around. I just don't know. Let's see what Zongel has to say about all of this. Let me get my bearings really quickly. Where's the castle? So the castle is... I've completely and totally lost my bearings. Let's see here. It's back this way. Alright, so to get to Zongel from here, it looks like we have to head towards... Oh, out past the mill. Yeah, so we're already there. We gotta make sure the mill's on our right. Alright, so let's head to Zongel. We were already on the right path, and I completely almost abandoned it just based on my bad navigational skills. And it was right there. If it was a snake, it would have bit me. My navigation is dirtier than an earthworm's belly. Let's jump in here. Doesn't look like there's anything we can do aside from healing our troops. A little bit of a disappointment, but I figure it'll be alright. Let's go to Rawfield and see if there's anything to do there. We can hire another healer in Rawfield, which is always a temptation. 2 healers, it does have a tendency to work out a little bit better than 1, especially once you start upgrading them and getting to the higher tiers. They turn into pretty badass healers, but I'm not going to hire them just yet. What else is around here? Let's take a look at the map. We've got Rawfield, there's Forest Village. Everything that's in green is something we control, but, oh, red is actually in control of the people that have Rib Warts down here. Well, let's go take a look at Forest Village, and maybe we can take it or wrest it from the control of whoever owns it. It doesn't look like it has a flag flying above it, so maybe we can actually conquer it. I don't know. It doesn't look like we had to conquer it in any combative sense, but we did capture it. If you look now, it does have our coat of arms above it, which means that once our hero levels up a tad of a bit more, we can actually exploit it for a little bit of cash if we need to. We're making 80 Gulder a day, which is pretty sweet. And we've already been up to Bog End and the Tavern and Goat, or the Goat and Cat. Which reminds me of a video I saw a few days ago, or it was a GIF. It was a GIF of a cat. It was sitting on a goat's back or something like that, and then the cat swats the goat on the butt, and the goat takes off, and the cat just rides it off into the distance. It was pretty incredible, and it was a real photo. Made me pretty happy. It made me chuckle delightfully. A Merry Christmassy chuckle, at the bare minimum like an Eastery chuckle when you find out that there's going to be stuffing. Let's go to the tower. I don't know what happens if we go to a tower. Let's check out a tower. So far, it seems like the game is sort of bare bones for the time being. Ah, there's hirelings. So I can actually station troops here if I want to try and hold it from invasion, although I don't know if invasions ever come. Who is this guy over here? Ooh, it's a fight. Let's go get into a fight. Let's chase him down. We're going to run him to the hills, or run through the hills, or run to the hills. Whichever way that I can quote Iron Maiden poorest. Or the most poorly. That's right. Stop in the field of stumps that I might chop off your limbs and make your limbs reflect the trees in this region. Looks like it's going to be Paul's turn first. Go, Paul!
On my way.
I could pantomime the sounds like the clinks and clanks and binks and bonks that they're making, but I feel like that might be a little patronizing. So I'm just going to leave this I'm just going to leave it at there's no sound, and then we'll just live with that. We're going to kill the bowman first. It looks like there's only 2 of them. Let's fire at that guy. Now, I haven't really determined whether the person that gets a kill gets more XP, but I'm leaning towards the fact that they probably do, or you get XP per action that you take during the actual combat engagement. I haven't really figured out between the two which it is yet, but it's probably one of those. I'm going to move my awesome man-at-arms in here because I want to upgrade him even more. He's got a killer Gambusum. And Paul's going to swing back around, and he should be done like dinner. Down he goes. Everybody got 2 XP, and yeah, I think because Paul got 2 kills, he got more XP. I think it distributes based on who gets kills or something. I wish that it had a little pop-up above the heads. That would help out even more. What's in the old shack? It's got combat. Let's go get in a fight in the old shack. Oh, maybe not. Is it my old shack? Yeah, that's my old shack. This is my ground. It's my territory. Nobody comes up in my old shack. At least not without some kind of repercussion. It's never good when somebody comes up in your shack. God. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. Let's head off to... It looks like there's a pagan. Let's go find some heretics. See if we can find our way over to this pagan temple over here. What's going on over in this region, huh? What's going on, pagans? Getting your ritual on? Sacrificing some babies or something? Well, it didn't let me do anything there. Is it my pagan temple now? Nope, it's not my pagan temple, so at least I didn't do that. Is that a guy right? Oh, that's a guy right there. Let's get in a fight. Let's get in as many combats as possible, because it seems like that's pretty much the point of the game. Ooh, they have a wizard or a witch. Interestingly enough, a witch who looks like she hits really hard. Yeah, she hits for like 69 damage, giggity. Let's jump off to the bottom here, and I guess I'll try and one-shot this peasant. I want to break their line as quickly as possible. Well, she didn't hurt Paul that much, but then again, I don't really know what she did. Let's break the line as quickly as we can to kind of close with her. I'd like to kill her off, if at all possible. And then we'll have Heinrich and the remainder of his troops kind of fight down here in the corner. Heinrich's going to jump in there. My spearman's going to fight with this guy, if I can get the targeting correct. Maybe going from this angle would be better. That's right, it does have a shifty camera we can use, which is very cool, but not the kind of shifty camera that loots your pocket and then walks away later and makes you wonder why you don't have enough for a Big Mac later. And it's a better shifty camera than that. It's a camera that actually allows for the literal shifting. On our healer's turn, I'm going to heal one of my archers because he's pretty beat up. Let's have our man-at-arms or our soldiers step in right there, take a swing. Heinrich's going to take some damage. He's going to take some damage as well. He may actually die and the line might break, but I'm not positive just yet what's going to happen over there. Let's turn this flank really quickly. Down he goes. And there goes a shot from the bowman. Let's start just continue putting rounds on the witch or the warlock or whatever she is. She seems to hit really, really hard. If you look at her attack stat, it was like 60-something, although it's down to 39 now. I don't know if maybe your attack is affected by how much damage you've taken. Once again, not a whole lot of empirical testing here on my part. I kind of just wanted to jump in and do a fun LP. I pretty much just made sure it was working and then started it off. Well, our spearman can kill him, I think. So let's kill him. Our bowman can kill him. So let's avoid having to take any damage whatsoever. So our other spear... Oh, one of our bowmen just got one-shotted. That's a little weak. Let's keep putting arrows on the witch, and then Heinrich's going to fight with that peasant right there. Spearman, sure. Take a stab at him. We're going to throw a heal on that peasant just to keep him alive for now. Yeah, I figured he was going to take a little bit of damage, so it was worth it. He's doing something. He keeps making little insignias in the air, but there's no combat log that I've seen, so I'm not really sure how to take it. I think he's rooted right now because we can't move him around at all, no matter what engagement he's able to close with. Unfortunately, or maybe you're not allowed to walk past the actual line that hasn't been defeated yet. That does add an interesting point to the whole thing, but you'd think he'd be able to walk this way, so maybe he's rooted right now. No clue. I'm going to put him on parry because he has no other movement. Neither does he, strangely enough, but they do both have big red arrows down next to them, so I think they're debuffed. Let's bypass both their turns. And down goes my other spearman. So these pagans aren't without a bite. They're actually able to deal a little bit of damage. And Heinrich's going to move in to fight with the bowman. He's still debuffed, so he can't move anywhere, unfortunately, as I'm mousing over things. Gonna have to bypass both turns, and she's out of mana, so that all the heals are pretty much dried up right now. Our heals have well run dry. Or like a well have run dry, or something. Our well is chased. It's her turn. She's out of mana, so I'm going to actually have her meditate, and you'll watch right here at the bottom of the screen. She'll get a little bit of her mana bar back, which is a pretty sweet thing to have happen. Let me see if I can maybe kill off this priest or pagan or whatever he is. Looks like he's a bit more resilient than I figured. Bowman, let's help out with Paul. Let's make sure Paul has a little bit of backup right now. And so you can see why you want to get to tier 2 units as quickly as possible. These tier 2 guys like the soldiers, they perform much, much better. I'm going to have her... Oh, she can't meditate again. Well, I guess I'll just have her throw a heal on Heinrich then. It's less money that I have to spend on healing later. Down goes that caster, which is going to avoid us from getting debuffed as far as I know. Let's put another arrow on her. And I think she healed herself, oddly enough. Oh, I guess that's not so odd. Wizards have a tendency to do things like that just to make my life a little bit more miserable. And it's my healer's turn. We're going to have her meditate one more time. And the soldier, we're going to have him step in, and good night. Down she goes, Shazowie. A big XP pull on that one. It looks like we got a grimoire, a feather hat. Hell yeah. Everybody will know who runs the yard once we have our feather hat on. Looks like we got some nighties or like a nightgown or something. Basically, something that'll make us look a little bit more modest when we go to bed instead of sleeping in the bald-butted nude that most of us seem to prefer in life. And let's get the hell on out of here. We've cleared this area. Can I conquer the pagan temple now? Pagans, give me your stuff. And it looks like we're actually down a troop, so somebody got killed there, unfortunately. Let's take a look at our roster and figure out what happened. Ooh, they actually one-shotted our bowman. That's lame. I don't like that at all. I don't know how to fix this. He's got 4 of those little insignias, which makes me think he's dead, especially since they're counting him off the roster already. I'm going to drop him from our group, and then we'll go recruit somebody else. And if I just did something dumb, I apologize. But as far as I understand it from fiddling around, you can't heal those guys. I tried when I went to a castle last time, and it acted like there was nothing to do there. Let's make our way back home and get ourselves healed. I think that's the next most important thing we could do. Maybe swing through Piedmont and pick up some new troops. We can hire some peasants, but I don't know. They don't seem that great. So we'll hire a peasant. Maybe we'll use him to swap him out with a garrison later on. Let's go back to our Castle Luxenloch. Ah, see, yeah, there is a garrison now. So let's swap out that peasant for the archer that we lost. Now, that is a tier 1 archer instead of a tier 2 one, but it's better than nothing, right? We'll heal everybody, which was mainly that spearman right there, and then we should be able to roll out of here without any further hindrances. Let's stop by the goat and cat over here, see if there's any quests that have popped up, showed up new, and then we'll head back to the inn. Oh, heretic. Pray halt, good sir, and listen to us. We are ordinary people. We are fleeing from the south, from the oppression and atrocities of the Count of Rauenflaus. We have our women and children with us, and we are tired from wandering. Please allow us to remain in your land. We will agree to heavy tax or any other condition that you need. Why is the Count of Rauenflaus driving you out? Are you Catholics or not? No, sir, we are Christian, but the holy sect will not recognize our faith, for it was said that we shall live that all that will live godly shall suffer persecution. They are Christians that worship the 8th beatitude over the others and reproach others for not worshiping it thus. The persecuted ones are Ovites, as they are called in Greek. All rulers of Rauenflaus have strived to exterminate us, or striven, that would be striven. It's not much we are asking for. All we want is refuge. We're human like anyone else. Well, I can't let a suffering human being go unhelped. So let's give refuge. So be it. You'll be allowed to settle in the village of Balgan. They have a shortage of hands down there anyways. May the Lord bless your grace for your charity. No day shall pass without us praying for you. Alright, well let's head to the tavern then. He had some pretty crazy bling going on. That lady has a headdress that is worthy of lore. Let's talk to her and see what she's got to say. She says, "May I ask if you will help me? I promise I won't take much of your precious time, and I'll compensate you for anything I do take. I'm here in hopes of overcoming my enemy, but they are very strong and are treading on my heels." Who is that enemy? It is every lady's enemy, old age. Happier ladies can afford growing old, but given the life that I have led in the court of the Landgrave of West Rothwald, old age spells my ruin. They say that Celestine Rusina, a doctor who lives in the east of the baronage, possesses a cure for aging. I don't know if I can believe these sorts of rumors, but I have no choice. Unfortunately, I was attacked by a gang on my way here. All of my servants but one guard ran for their lives. The bandits went after me, and they must still be watching now. I'm afraid to leave the inn alone, and I would be so grateful if you would accompany me to Rusina's estate. All right, a damsel in distress. Let's have some classical adventuring fun. I shall accompany you. I won't keep you long, and I'll come with you at once, my dear. To remind you, Rusina's estate is in the southern part of the East Bank, in the woods. Alrighty. Any new rumors? Undead in the Hoxzung ruins. That one's new. Let's see if there's any zombies around. Brothers, have you happened to walk after dark by the hill where Hoxzung stood? Well, I went by there last week, and I got so scared that I thought I'd drop dead right there. The wind in the ruins howls so loud that you can hear it from a mile away. I'll be damned if that's just the wind, though. I'm telling you, first it's the wind whistling, and the sound is smooth like it should be, but then it falls silent. It starts up again, but this time the sound is different, thin and sad, like a baby crying. Then another voice joins the first one, then a third one, and so they all go in chorus. Well, you kind of jumped an iteration right there. It goes first, second, third, unless for whatever reason they go into three-part harmony instantaneously, and I respect that. Jumping into three-part harmony is not easy. It's not a barbershop quartet, but if you have to jump into song while invoking your relics of a past age, you might as well get that harmony in there. If you listen very closely, you can even hear their words, but they don't talk in our language, and you can't understand a damn thing. It's true, and here's why. When Lorenz the heretic, the neighboring count, was marching against us, he destroyed Hoxzung and killed the former Baron Jorgen and every last one of his men. Lorenz, being the conscientious heretic that he was, he buried them the way he knew according to their rites. Now these Christian souls languish, buried the heretical way. Neither to heaven nor to hell can they go. Weird. Well, maybe we'll go fight some crazy skeletons or something. That was a little unnerving. We're going to leave the inn for now. And I don't really know where these bandits are going to hit us from. Let me take a look at my roster really quickly. And I think we'll be alright. Is he counting as a noble? What is he? Oh, Matthias von Doppelzung. What is Matthias von Doppelzung doing? Why is he in our castle? I thought Matthias von Doppelzung was the guy we were looking for. I feel strangely about this whole thing. Oddly enough, I feel very weird about what has just happened. Well, we have two nobles in our party, and that's what I just noticed that caused me to check my roster. Let's step out and see. Maybe, I don't know where she wants us to take her. Let's jump into our map really quickly. The road to youth. Let's mark it on the map. And it's all the way down here in the bottom right corner. So we're going to have to make our way all the way down, cross the bridge onto the east bank. And then once we get down to here, we'll see what kind of rewards we can wrangle. That's fine, because we were going to head back to the honey barrel, I believe, in order to do some whining and dining and figure out if we could find where the Baron was at, even though he's in our party right now, I think. As far as I know, Matthias von Doppelzung was who we were looking for, though. And the fact that he's in our party rings very strangely and buggily, though I don't know what I'm talking about all the time, so maybe I'm wrong. Let's head back on out, and let's stop at the honey barrel really quickly. Ah, conversation with the innkeeper. Your Grace, can you see that man at the table? Well, he's not the one you're looking for, to be sure, but he said he could help with your search. Hush, keep it low. We don't want extra attention. So you're looking for that dressed-up wiseacre? Well, who are you, and what do you know? I know a few things. Have no doubts about that. Different people know me by many different names, but most of them call me Charcoal. That's just a name that I have. But alright, let's get to the point. I'll tell you the whole damn thing now, and you decide what to do with it. I ain't local, not from Doppelzung anyways, but I've stayed here a while and I've sinned not a little. So it looks like my local buddies are keeping a company with that wiseacre. It's either he's their hostage or they're his mercenaries, but it's hard to tell. That's not the point. It's time for me to go home, and it ain't easy to split from my company. If only a noble lord like you could help me, things would be so much easier. Let's make a deal. If you help me get out of here, I'll tell you where my buddies are, and where they're keeping your wiseacre. Very well, I'll help you. Good then, I'll tell you frankly, I don't trust no noble lords. Most of them are scoundrels, but here's what we're going to do. I'll meet you at night on the hill near the ruins of Old Hoksung. I'll have 2 friends with me, and you don't bring any more than 2 along yourself. Not going to work any other way. If you don't come, what do? Well, I'll still wait for you there the following night. So we've got another quest to take care of, but I think we're going to do that one after we drop off this lady. Let's go ahead and take off in this direction, and I believe we have to cut to the right here. From my general orienteering, although I could be wrong. Hoksung, from what I understand, is right here on the hill. That's where the undead were supposedly creeping around at night. We'll see if there's any credence to that as well. Rib Warts down here. If I looked at the map, anything in red can be conquered, so I'm going to conquer Rib Warts while I'm down here so that I can make a bit more cash. Let's jump it. And there it is. We've conquered it that simply. Without a fight. And so now we get 100 golder a day, and Rib Warts is now part of our kingdom. We do have a lot of fiefs under our control at this point, but not quite as many as our neighbor. It looks like he controls everything, and these are going to be people that are under his vassalage. And I guess that's really, well, maybe I'll think about actually steamrolling him. I don't know. We'll see what happens after the next step or so, and if it doesn't go the way that we like, we'll start sacking all of his holdings and just getting ourselves into trouble. I believe East Bank Outpost is where she wanted to go. Let's drop her off here. Anything? Oh, we conquered the outpost too. Well then, are those the bandits right there? I bet those are the bandits. Or maybe, where was I taking her again? God, let me check my quest log and make sure. To Celestine Racina. Oh, that's right. I had to bring her to like a weird little hut or something out here in the middle of nowhere. Let's weave our way through the forest and we'll have a few looks around and see if we can find the place. Attention, it's a trap. I guess so. See if we can get in there somehow. Oh wow, there's a bunch of bandits coming at us. Let's get into a fight. Looks like we've got a duel. Oh my god, they one-shotted everybody. That is terrifying. How did that happen? Well then, we're gonna have to deal with him post-haste. They've also got a high-level archer right there, which is a problem. Let's step in with our higher tier troop and see if maybe we can fight with him. Although I don't really know how that's going to go. We're going to put everybody we can on him that can possibly drop him because he's just weaving his way through our troops, causing problems. We'll heal our archer. And now it's going to be not their turn just yet, but going to continue focusing fire. We may not survive this next little bit though. Well, he's down. And there goes our other archer. God. This is not good. Hopefully, if I can keep Paul up, we should be okay. Let's throw another heal on him. He's going to break that line right there. And he's got enough armor to where I think... No, never mind. I need to move in on this guy, like, now. He needs to go. He's causing all kinds of problems for me. We'll strike at him for now. Throw a heal on Paul. Poor beleaguered Paul. And down goes that ridiculous ringer of an archer. God. That guy was terrifying. She's out of mana now. We might lose Paul here. Oh, Paul counterattacked. Well done, Paul. You're my hero. Let's kill everybody we can. And I think we barely survived that. That was... God. Ugly as hell. And it looks like my actual lord got killed. Strangely enough. Lords be praised. These bloodsuckers won't hurt me or anyone else anymore. What can I do to thank you, my dear? I'm missing something. In fact, it's my overlord. Have you heard of the disappearance of our Baron Matthias von Doppelzung by any chance? He's in our group. I may well have. I know that Landgrave Venderlin sent a messenger to him with an important letter. I think I wouldn't find it hard to find out the details of that story, and sharing them with you would be my pleasure, but I need to go back to Rothwald first. Well, it looks like there's a bandit right there, and that's making me scared. Let me look at my... Oh, okay, we're just wounded. Alright, that's mighty fine. We're pretty beat up, though. Looks like, yeah, Matthias got tore up as well. But our recruit has leveled up. So let me level him a bit. We have a choice. We can make him into a soldier, we can make him into a guard. I'm going to go with the soldier because the soldier gets a shield. And given that this guy survived a little bit longer than everybody else in that engagement, might be worth doing. Now, he's dead outright, so he's absolutely moitered. I'm going to let him come back with me, though, to the castle. And maybe... I am really sincerely hoping that group doesn't attack me. Alright, good, good, good. If we get hit right now, it's going to be ugly as hell. We are not going to be able to pull out if that's the case. In fact, it might also be worth... Yeah, I think he's actually coming after us. Let me see if I can make it somewhere good. And if we can make it back to our Lord's castle before nightfall, there's charcoal over there waiting for us. Watch out for anybody trying to jump us from this direction, but that did not go well. Oh, I needed to take her. Alright, so let's get everybody healed. Ooh, that's expensive, but we can afford it. And that's going to be the end of this episode for me, I think. My name is Splattercat. Thank you very much for joining me here at the Nerd Castle for the next episode in our Let's Play, or our short beta watch of Legends of Eisenwald. I hope you've been enjoying it, and I will see you guys next time. Take care out there, everybody.